Happy Wednesday, is it? I believe it's a Wednesday, and welcome back for Nexus Gaming Series, a doubleheader. Joining me this evening for his NGS casting debut, a fellow player, a fellow tank player. Yep, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me here. Looking forward to casting some good games tonight with you.
For those of you who weren't here Monday, we did have some audio issues, so let me know if anybody's coming in too hot or not hot enough, etc., etc. First matchup tonight is going to be Division C. We have two veteran chair league teams. On the left-hand side will be Psychoswarm. They finished 8th last season, just squeaked into the playoffs before dropping their set to Guy's Gems and being eliminated. The other side, Dunning-Kruger Knights. They are a veteran chair league team. I've casted them way back in the day in chair league, and now they are back here in Nexus Gaming Series. They were in the league last season. They were in Division A. They had a little bit of a rough go of it and have been replaced in Division C, where I think you really want to watch out for them. So we do have both teams in lobby. And we're about to hit the ready button. The banner. So our first map is on Braxis Holdout. Yep, what are your thoughts on old Braxis Holdout here?
You know, for the longest time, to be honest, I really did not enjoy Braxis. At least when it first came out, because the Zerg wave was just kind of really snowbally to me. But I feel like if you have really good wave clear and just a good composition that can like hold down beacons or get those picks, that it could be a pretty fun map to play on. I haven't played it yet. I haven't played it yet on an NGS season, but I hope to get a game or two in of it.
I will say I like the changes that they made. I still hate it. I think it's far and away the worst map of the teams in the competitive pool. Full disclosure, I am a little bit salty because my team got stomparooskied on it last night, and I'm not bitter or anything. First ban for Dunning-Kruger Knights will be old Jimmy Rayner, and what a world we live in where Jimmy Rayner is the first ban of a competitive game.
I'm not surprised, though. Jimmy's been pretty powerful lately. I know he's been a pretty priority ban in our games down in for Bronze League Heroes.
Now it'll be Psychoswarm. Their first ban of the evening will be Asmodan. Once again, what a world we live in where Asmodan is first banned. Last I checked, he was top of the win rate in Hot Slogs. I don't think Braxis is one of his more impactful maps. I think he tends to do better on the larger maps where his general can get split push pressure and where he can double soak with his Q. However, this game won't matter. He won't be here. And Dunning-Kruger Knights responding with a Kael'thas ban.
I do like the Kael'thas ban. Ever since he got that slight buff, he's been a consistent ban. But I don't know with the Asmodan. I kind of feel like if you went Gluttony on this one for his first town, where you just dunk on heroes and get extra stacks with that, that's not a bad. This isn't a bad map for that simply because of the objectives. You're gonna have tons of people there.
That's true, but he definitely scales late, and this is one of the shorter length battlefields, so you don't get the late game value. Psychoswarm coming out with the Stukov. He's kind of slipped down the meta with the changes that he's had lately. However, his lurking arm on Braxis Holdout can be really oppressive, and this draft just flying along. Dunning-Kruger Knights first selecting Phoenix, and then Gul'dan Alexstrasza, response by Psychoswarm.
Yeah, now the question is it going to be the OP life binder from Alexstrasza?
Does she have another heroic?
Well played, well met.
Which is ironic because Cleansing Flame used to be her only heroic, and I jest, Cleansing Flame is still solid, but life binder is broken.
I like this Malfurion Dibbles pick, Diablo here from DKK there.
So all the support's taken already. We will not have story time with Deckard Cain this game. Malfurion, Diablo. So a nice core composition so far for Dunning-Kruger Knights. Tank, support, assassin to start it off. Not really showing their hand. They can really take that in a lot of different directions. And Uriel being banned out by Psychoswarm.
Yeah, she definitely has really good to stay in. You know, especially she could be like a deadly solo laner on this map. I mean, Phoenix could also go, but I'd like to see him more in like kind of like the 4-man lineup if they choose to do that.
The Euroban, that must also tell me that Psychoswarm doesn't play her because they had next pick and they don't have a solo laner yet. So banning her out shows me that Psychoswarm doesn't want to draft her. Garrosh banned out by Dunning-Kruger Knights. I expect to see, if I were Psychoswarm, I would probably pick up my front line here, and instead they go Genji Johanna.
I was expecting the Joe pick right there. Joe is definitely one of the more tankier ones in the meta right now, and she has just really great utility blinds, you know, which would be good on Phoenix. We haven't seen the other 2 picks from Dunning-Kruger Knights yet, but for the most part, I kind of like the setup here. Genji can get into the back line, poke at that Malfurion, Gul'dan with just that kind of AoE damage over time.
And we just got a pretty big raid from Gravesville, so always appreciate keeping it within the NGS family. Thanks, Gravesville. And to round out the composition, we have Jaina Sonya for Dunning-Kruger Knights and a Malthael coming out from Psychoswarm. We haven't really touched on that Genji yet. Genji is particularly good on Braxis holdout because of how quickly he can burn the boss with his deflect ability. Also, with his jump and his swift strike, he can act as kind of a pseudo-global and rotate between the lanes very quickly.
Yeah, that's definitely got a point. I'm very curious to see how this Malthael turns out, though. Looks like a laner.
So Sonya will likely have a rough time against a Malthael. Malthael tends to beat any of the other melee solo assassins for the most part. So that Sonya-Malthael matchup in the top lane is really going to be a big one.
Yeah, it really depends on how Malthael specs out, though. But, you know, just low-key is kind of one of my comfort picks just when I feel like having some fun.
Definitely not so for me. If you want to lose the game, you put me on Malthael, mission accomplished. I am a terrible Malthael player.
All right, so if I ever get some games with you, I'll remember, don't let you Malthael.
That's right. And we didn't notice on it, but excellent job by both teams with the portrait synergy. Everyone on the same page there, so no advantage gained.
Yeah, I definitely love the Deckard portrait synergy there.
Facility.
All right, so here we are, game 1 between Psychoswarm and the Dunning-Kruger Knights. Psychoswarm, we have Kaiser on Johanna, Magic Walrus, great name, on Malthael, G-Sticks on Gul'dan, Kujo on Genji, and Usio Kuzva, I'm going to say Zuva, on Alexstrasza.
10 seconds.
Yeah, and then for Dunning-Kruger Knights, we have here on the Diablo, Ralph Stew, their captain. We have Apple Eater on the Sonya. We have Schwelk on the Jaina, AZT Goki Buri on the Phoenix, and Hotaru on the Malfurion.
And it's actually Schweik.
Oh, thank you for the correction there.
Anytime. I know I always want to get it right. So it's actually, I love this adjustment by Dunning-Kruger Knights. They already recognized that Sonya would struggle against the Malthael, and they sent Phoenix up there. Phoenix will not struggle in the solo lane against Malthael.
Yeah, that's very true. Right now, it just seems to be a little bit of a back and forth up there. On the bottom, nothing too major going on. Gul'dan's a little bit low. Diablo's getting a little low as well. Mouth going in for the heal.
So all us Diablo players need to always remember he's always a little bit squishier in the beginning. I know when I play him, it's sometimes hard to make that adjustment, and I kind of have my arbitrary early death on Diablo as I remember. He cannot survive through much. Ralph Stew kind of being poked very low. Cheese Sticks on Gul'dan putting out a ton of poke damage.
Yeah, kind of like the Genji rotation there for now. Put a little pressure on the Phoenix.
And that was a very cheeky play by Schweik there on the Jaina. It's something to keep in mind. He waited for the healing circle from Alexstrasza and dropped a blizzard right on top of it. So
right now, Joe had to pop her iron skin here just now. She almost got to take it away there for a minute.
So early advantage over to Psychoswarm. They have secured both of these beacon points. However, Dunning-Kruger Knights going in, bullying off Psychoswarm. Gul'dan gets a little body slam action for his trouble. Alex Straza eats a ton of ice magic, very low on the backside, and now Dunning-Kruger Knights have stabilized the situation.
Yeah, so far, they managed to, just push out the lane a little bit. I like the fact that they took out Alex down so low. Gul'dan almost just actually even took a dive there. Cheese Stick's almost dying out. We have Genji coming up to help out the Malthael, who's actually getting damaged pretty significantly by the Phoenix.
Yeah, Malthael cannot trade into Phoenix due to that ranged poke in the shield. However, Kujo was waiting in the bushes, and Gokiburi barely escaping with the teleport into friendly territory. Sonya looks like she's coming up to take the laning duties until Phoenix can return. In the meantime, both teams still splitting the beacons as they feel each other out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep an eye right now since we got some level 4 talents out now from Dunning-Kruger here. Kind of curious to see what the Diablo goes. There we go, Life Leech.
In the top lane, Malthael in trouble. Phoenix and Sonya both up there. The aggressive teleport from Gokiburi, and they do secure first blood of the game going to Dunning-Kruger Knights as Malthael falls in the top lane.
Yeah, I'm definitely not surprised by that. It was a good pick on their part, though. Definitely get some nice energy going. The EXP, though, still pretty much neck to neck. The Joe getting away once again with her iron skin.
On the backside of that, Sonya was actually able to channel the beacon and secure just a smidgen of a Zerg wave for Dunning-Kruger. And this is a 4-on-3 in favor here. Dunning-Kruger getting aggressive. Diablo charging in. Dragon Queen was popped, however, I think she is still in a lot of trouble, and she is. Alex Straza goes down. Jaina Schweik doing a ton of damage. Cheese Sticks in full retreat. Genji is diving on the backside, able to secure the kill on the Sonya. Deflect use, he gets Futaro very low on Malfurion. He will fall, and on the backside of that engagement, Cheese Sticks with the huge corruption. Jaina eating nearly all of it and finally succumbing to the poison damage.
Yeah, that was definitely a really good fight for, Psycho there, just in general. Now they have firm control of the beacons. They're about to have their 7 way before Dunning-Kruger.
And not only that, with Magic Walrus working on this camp, as is Kujo, this is very likely going to be a Zerg wave pushing with a Merc camp, both in the top lane. So excellent macro here by Psychoswarm.
It is. Now, I think Malthael's probably going to potentially split push on the bottom lane to even get more advantage out of it.
Yeah, he hurts back to top off health and mana, and now it looks like he is rotating bottom. One of the changes that I alluded to in the early was you still get a more powerful Zerg wave even if you don't get much on the beacon, so that will need to be addressed in the bottom.
Alright, so right now, Dunning-Kruger is doing a relatively good job of, they didn't lose any towers yet, they're about to. Their gate's down, Phoenix getting a little caught out, warps out. The Joe actually pretty low, she managed to get away with an out heal.
So pretty solid defense here by Dunning-Kruger Knights, despite the constant pressure from Cheese Sticks on the Gul'dan. They only lose the front wall, despite a Bruiser Camp and a large Zerg wave.
Yeah, and for now, even Malthael down there getting just that little bit extra. I was watching that for a little bit, and just Sonya is just still having a rough time with it down there.
Yeah, if they're going to have somebody in lane one-on-one with Phoenix, or with Malthael, it really needs to be Phoenix. So once again, Genji being aggressive, zoning roots from Hotaru keeps Schweik from being in even more trouble. About a full level down.
Going in on that Jaina down! Jaina got nuked.
There was the dive, a great swift strike by Kujo to secure a very low health Jaina. 4 kills to 2 now in favor of Psychoswarm. Root lands onto Johanna as her Iron Skin expires. She might be in trouble. Dragon Queen popped here just to secure nothing goes really, really bad. And now Psychoswarm pushing in on the fort. Minions will be dead in a moment. They will be tanking, and now they are. Ralph Stew pretty low. Only a half level remaining before Psychoswarm picks up their level 10s.
Yeah, right now, though, for a little bit there, Psychoswarm there was actually pretty low in the top lane. It was low, Joe was low, but they seemed to balance out, though.
In the meantime, aggressive rotation by Malthael actually bullying Sonya off of her own camp. However, reinforcements on the way. Dunning-Kruger arrives just in the nick of time. Magic Walrus is in trouble, has nowhere to go. They both secure the kill and their camp. Schweik getting the timely heal from Hotaru to make sure he doesn't fall to the poison damage. Level 10s are here for Psychoswarm.
Yeah, so right now we got that Horrify from them. We have the X-Strike from the Genji, Lifebinder, go figure, from the Alexstrasza, Blessed Shield from the Joe, and Last Rites from the Malthael.
Now they are leveraging this level 10 to push onto this top fort. However, level 10s were just picked up by Dunning-Kruger. Very even game right now. It's going to be Water Elemental for Johanna. Lightning Breath that looks a lot like fire for Diablo. I believe that's Planet Cracker for Phoenix. Excellent choice. The Planet Cracker just obliterates the Zerg wave. Tranquility for Malfurion and Wrath of the Berserker for Sonya.
Yeah, right now Sonya is about to get a little bit caught out here. Genji finishes her off on the bot lane. Lets Malthael be out. Or Hearth out, rather.
Yeah, Psychoswarm's been really good about moving Genji around the battlefield, kind of using him as that pseudo-global, like I mentioned during the draft. He can rotate so quickly. The communication maybe not quite there from DKK to keep Sonya safe on those rotations.
Yeah, speaking of Genji right now, he's getting ready to come in on the flank on that mouth, Jane and Squishies. Diablo's actually pretty low too already.
There goes
a lightning breath.
A lightning breath, a horrify, a tranquility. A lot of R's were pressed, but nobody down quite yet. Water Elemental also went down. Schweik putting a lot of damage into Kaiser, able to secure the kill. Dragon Queen just a hair late. Apple Eater being very aggressive. Ralph Stew is going to go down. A desperation charge from Ralph Stew. It was actually Sonya that went down, keeping the Genji at bay. A 1-for-1 that actually plays out in favor of Psychoswarm. Their health bar is much higher, and they are on their way to their second Zerg swarm of this game.
Yeah, this is definitely where it has that potential to snowball, especially if you get consecutive Zerg waves just over and over. We'll just have to see how Dunning-Kruger Knights comes up to the defense here. Genji almost getting picked out, but manages to jump away.
So in the top lane, Psychoswarm is able to finally bring down that very low health fort, while Dunning-Kruger rotated almost en masse to secure the bottom beacon. Almost level 13 advantage here for Psychoswarm as they bide their time, kind of shuffling around out of vision. And now here comes the 4-man of Psychoswarm. This is kind of the fight that you want to take. X-Stripe goes down. Gujo, the target of Water Elemental and a Blizzard, dives out. Planet Cracker does good damage to both Johanna and Gul'dan. Also splits the team in half. Johanna might be in trouble. There's the flip. There's the stun. Welly goes out. Lifebinder keeps Johanna up. There's a Horrify, only sending Jaina to the safety of her own team. Nobody falls yet.
However, Dunning-Kruger Knights did secure this beacon here. It's actually the highest amount they've had in this game so far.
Yeah, Sonya off camera managed to bully Malthael off.
Well played, Sonya.
So Psychoswarm re-engaging onto the beacon. Blessed Shield goes out. There's a 2-man condemn. Deflect going out on Genji. That's a long cooldown burn. He really can't be aggressive with that on cooldown. Tranquility goes up, keeping all of the members of DKK alive. Kujo very aggressively going down. He is almost certainly going to fall, and does. Schweik securing the felling blow onto Genji. And now in hot pursuit are the Water Elemental and Jaina. Both beacons secured, at least for the time being, because off camera, I bet you it was Last Right securing the kill on Sonya and allows Psychoswarm to take control of the top beacon.
Yeah, so far this has actually been a pretty back and forth game. I'm actually really enjoying it. Good play on both sides.
For sure. DKK seemed to start out a little bit rough, but they have found their footing and are really putting up a very entertaining back and forth game from both sides.
It'd really be nice to see Dunning-Kruger, just be able to get some more picks, or at least, catch up in the experience-wise. Right now, they're even talent here. It's going the way it's going. Psychoswarm's going to get their 16 talents before, and that's going to be pretty crucial.
Alright, so another 4-on-4 even talent tier bottom. Dragon Queen is popped, as is Lightning Breath. Diablo holding his ground, doing a lot of damage. There's the Planet Cracker.
Oh!
Lifebinder goes out, though. All of those heroics were used, and Blue's health bars are still so high. Horrify splits Jaina away. DKK is in poor position. However, Dragon Queen has now expired. DKK aggressively going in. A great blizzard by Schweik was right on top of the healing circle. Ice Block keeping her up. Nobody going down yet. Jaina finally falls. Johanna up with less than 100 hit points, hiding in the bushes.
I was kind of biting my nails there for a minute.
Despite winning the team fight, Psychoswarm is too low to take advantage, and Dunning-Kruger bullies 4 members off of the bottom shrine with only 3 of their own.
Well, yeah, right now, Genji right now being the redeeming factor, jumping in up to the top beacon.
96% they were able to stop this at. So regardless, even if Psychoswarm comes back and secures 100, the Zerg waves are essentially going to be even.
Yeah, they'll have to defend each wave respectively.
In the top, Genji patiently waiting in the bushes. Apple Eater has no fort to go down here to, so he needs to be very careful. Ralph's too also very low.
Diablo charged in on the fort, and he almost paid for it with his life.
Yeah, Ralph's
to get away.
And there was the gank, trying to keep up with both of these lanes here. Cujo and Magic Walrus doing a ton of work in the top lane. And even though the bottom lane being won here by DKK, you can look at the experience, and a lot of that is a product of the side soaking. Malthael coming down now to reinforce this bottom. They know he's not showing on the map, and Ralph Stew at about half health here is a prime target for last rites.
I'd agree. I think right now, though, this is what I was talking about beforehand, that Psychoswarm is going to get their 16s beforehand if something didn't change in the experience of Dunning-Kruger Knights. And for now, Dunning-Kruger Knights is just working on getting their bruiser camp, and just they're going to be defending each wave respectively.
Yeah, that was actually a really savvy decision by the side of Dunning-Kruger Knights to recognize that they weren't really in a position to contest that, to concede that Zerg wave. They know they have Planet Cracker to do just what it did, and go get value somewhere else on the map.
Oh, this Genji got caught out and paid for it with little to show for it.
Yeah, he X-striked onto Diablo, and Diablo, Ralph Stew having none of that. It was a charge into the wall, and a flip, and down goes Genji.
And then just right after that, Alexstrasza had used Lifebinder on the Johanna. Then she popped Dragon Queen, and now, right now, she's relatively low. Diablo's charging in, working on trying to secure that Johanna kill. Can they get it? I'll use the Iron Skin to get away.
Oh, he's going to go down.
Yeah, Phoenix finishes it off.
So, despite losing, in quotey fingers, because those Zerg waves were very close, despite losing the Zerg wave, Dunning-Kruger Knights actually won the last few minutes with a pick on the Genji, pushing down the fort, and I don't think they would. They are boss calling Johanna down for 27 seconds.
That's the thing right now. There's a minimum risk for this. They don't have their tank player to peel right now from Psychoswarm. Genji's getting a scout on it. They're actually going to try and contest it. That Horrify, though, Diablo using his Lightning Breath to stay on the point. Oh, this Slaughterfest.
That was great play and counterplay. You saw what Psychoswarm wanted to do. They wanted to steal the boss with the Horrify. However, Ralph Stew was ready with the unstoppable Lightning Breath like a half a second before that Horrify went out. It saves them the boss and gives them a 4-1, I believe, because Diablo had souls, team fight. But that was an absolute bloodbath.
Yeah, that was just... Dunning-Kruger Knights couldn't have asked for a better engagement. Because now they have the lead. They have almost an entire level lead up on Psychoswarm. They're getting ready to push this keep wall. They're at minimum getting a keep. And if Psychoswarm doesn't address it, even possibly, you know, push the core and end the game.
Yeah, you know, there's a fine line between genius and crazy. And if they pulled off the Horrify boss steal, the call looks like a genius 5-on-4. However, when they lost the boss and 4 members, it really makes you question whether they should have been there or not in the first place.
Yeah, it was definitely a risk play.
Look
the
at
Joanna goes down.
The zoning from Lightning Breath and Planet Cracker, incredible. This boss is still at about 75% health. Johanna is down. YOLO by Diablo. There's the fear used defensively. Last Right secures the kill on Sonya. Tranquility going out, keeping up all the members of DKK. Chorus falling 60%. Both still healthy. I think this is going to be game 1 going over to Dunning-Kruger Knights, parlaying a boss capture into a core call.
Well played from Dunning-Kruger Knights. And if you looked at it initially, it looked like Psychoswarm really had that great early game and even mid-game advantage. But towards the end, what really did them in was that play, that 4v5 on the boss without their tank to help heal or even mitigate damage. So
that was actually Psychoswarm's choice of battlefield. Game 2 will be Infernal Shrines. That was Dunning-Kruger's choice of battlefield. One of the changes to Nexus Gaming Series, if you are back from last season and you're not aware of it, there is no more 3 points for a domination. It's 1 game, 1 win. So Psychoswarm here trying to pick up the split and even up this series at 1-1, while Dunning-Kruger Knights look to start off the season strong, picking up the 2-0. Anything stand out at you if you still have those stat screen up there yet?
I actually don't have the stat screen up off the top of my head, so I can't really answer that, but just from the game I saw, it was really, even though Psychoswarm lost at the end, it was still really great play from both sides. It was really back and forth for a long time, even with the beacons. That one wave had 100% versus 96.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Kills were even 12-12, so that was a very close game. And I wouldn't surprise me to see either one of these teams come back and take game 2. So if you're in the comms of Psychoswarm, what do you think? What do you think the chatter sounds like?
If I was Psychoswarm right now, I'd probably I'd try to focus on maybe just maybe some positioning in the sense of just how some of the heroes were placed out. I mean, I think Alex Straza nailed some good heals, so I think their healing was all right. Even their damage output was okay. It was just certain instances where their positioning, at those crucial moments didn't necessarily pay off. Especially with that boss. What I would have, if I was on that team, I probably would have just let, Dunning-Kruger Knights have the boss and try and defend it as a full 5 rather than, lose 4 and then, you have one person left alive against a bruiser camp plus boss plus a whole team banging at your door. So if I was them, I'd maybe try to, maybe try and think a little bit more strategically, maybe even in some instances be a little more passive in how they initiate their moves.
Yeah, and if I'm those guys, I'm not worrying about it too much because that game was kind of the definition of could have gone either way. I mean, that game really could have gone either way. All right, so getting both teams into lobby here. All right, so both teams getting into lobby. We have all the members of DKK here. members of Psychoswarm coming in now. Going on to Infernal Shrines for Game 2, a much, much different animal than Praxis Holdout.
Yeah, I do enjoy Infernal Shrines, even if it's just, the John Cena's alone, but, there's just so many different potentials here, like Asmodan, I'd love to see on this map, just for that value, with his generals, his lane push, his stacks on his Globe of Annihilation. Globals could even pay, like Dahaka, isn't too bad on here just for that global soul lane presence. He can jump in on those shrines at any time that he needs to.
All right, looks like we have both teams ready. Yeah, actually, I'm going to pile on to what you said there. Asmo would get a ton of value on shrines. One of his better, if not best, battlefields. And Shrine's definitely more traditional, I think more competitively balanced. One of my favorite maps, and there's so many strategies you can employ on it, and you can be a lot more creative, I think, in what you can do on a larger map with more options to take advantage of throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, definitely, for sure, man. I'm definitely very excited to get into this draft and see what these guys pick up here.
So this time it'll be Psychoswarm with first pick, first ban. Let's see who they take off the board.
Is it going to be a fat Asmo?
It could be a fat Asmo. I'm glad I'm not the only person that calls him that.
I mean, I don't know though. They have first pick, so if they play Asmo,
That's
maybe
true.
they'll sneak them in there.
And that's the meta we live in, where sometimes first pick Asmodan just makes sense.
And I remember once upon a time that people would ban Asmo and be like, why? Diablo, though, the first ban here.
Respect ban coming out. I mean, Diablo's solid regardless, but Ralph Stew definitely put in some work in game one on the Diablo. And there's the Asmo ban.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to deal with it, so they banned Asmo out. But yeah, that Ralph Stew play on the Diablo house game was great. There's a Jimmy ban now, which is also crazy. You would expect a Jimmy these days.
So second ban for Dunning-Kruger Knights. Is it going to be a map ban? Johanna's good on here. We know after last game, Psychoswarm does play the Johanna. Going to be a Genjo who was available last, and instead sticking with the Kael'thas. So if my memory serves me right, it wasn't Diablo. Game 3 of the 4 bans, the same from game 1 to game 2. First pick, Psychoswarm. Who's it going to be, Yep?
It could be... Oh, there's that Gul'dan. I was just thinking that, too. Gul'dan really put in some work for them in the last game, so...
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think that was Cheese Sticks on Gul'dan, and he did a ton of damage. Braxis is one of Gul'dan's better battlefields, but also very good on shrines as well. Really enables that 4-man double lane rotation and can clear out those Shrine Guardians pretty safely. Alexstrasza Garrosh coming out from DKK. I love those picks. Alexstrasza in particular, I think this is probably her strongest battleground with the possible exception of Volskaya Founder.
Yeah, Alexstrasza is definitely a great pick, aside from the Life Biter. Just Dragon Queen, just by itself, if nothing else, is just a great zoning tool, especially on close-knit objectives, because a lot of people they're not just going to stand there and take a beating. Oh, I like this pick here. The Tychus with the Johanna.
So Tychus's job is to take care of that Garrosh. That's a fine line to walk, because Tychus is going to have to get in a little bit close. Johanna just really good with the Gul'dan and the 4-man. Going back to the Alexstrasza, when you're taking care of these Shrine Guardians and you have an Alexstrasza, you don't need to get all of them. You can just get to about 26, 27, and you hit that Dragon Queen button, and that's kind of the end of the objective. So she really shortens that objective. Malthael ban coming out for Dunning-Kruger.
Yeah, I think they respected the mouth player that game. He definitely put in his work in the solo lane on Braxis Holdout.
For sure, and he's a good counter into the Garrosh with the last rites. Garrosh is so hard to actually finish the job with his armor that builds up, and Last Rites just negates all of that. Taking away Schweik's Jaina, Psychoswarm with their third ban.
Yeah, even then, Jaina is also a really good ban on this map. Even if they went, Water Elemental or even, Ring of Frost, I still think it's just a strong, viable ban here. The Phoenix is being picked up again, which I do enjoy. Though I kind of feel like maybe Purification Salvo would be nice to see in this game.
Yeah, I think you are correct. You're more likely to see a Purification Salvo. Blaze coming out on the backside of Phoenix, and a Garrosh Blaze frontline with Alexstrasza AoE healing. That's going to be really tough.
Yeah, let's see how Psychoswarm counters that. Leoric Stukov. I do enjoy some good Admiral Stukov play.
So you figure the Lurking Arm you're going to use as a pseudo counter to the Healing Circle of Alexstrasza. Leoric and Tychus both do percentage-based damage for Garrosh and Blaze. This is going to be a really interesting game. How does Dunning-Kruger respond with their last pick? Going to be damage of some sort. Kel'Thuzad.
Ooh, I am liking this. I'm liking this draft.
That is really spicy pick. If Schweik plays Kel'Thuzad as well as he played Jaina last game, they could be in trouble. Something that's going to be a factor for sure if Stukov sits down for his Lurking Arm, he is standing still for Kel'Thuzad to unleash all of that damage on him. So Zuva on Admiral Stukov needs to be very careful with where he positions himself during Lurking Arm.
Yeah, I really do think Kel'Thuzad is going to abuse that whenever he can. I mean, right now, just kind of on paper right now, I like Dunning-Kruger Knights' setup. However, Psychoswarm just has, they do have great potential. I just feel like they need to nail what they can do, amazingly. You know what I mean? Maybe get an early pick or something, if they take out the Alex before the shrines, that'd be just great, or somebody. But we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I really like DKK's draft. With that front line in particular, I think the damage dealers are going to have a hard time getting past the Blaze, past the Garrosh, into the backside. All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Nexus Gaming Series, a replay of last week as one of our teams, Psychoswarm, was taken out of the Nexus by a power storm, and we're back to pick up Game 2. It will be a short cast this evening. Joining me, captain of the reigning Division B Grand Champion, Divine 9, Jason. How's it going? Try that again because I unmuted the wrong one.
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Anytime. We've been kind of ready for this most of the off season, so excited to week 2 of 8 in NGS Season 5. We do have both teams in lobby. Let's see if they are ready to go. So, of course, the draft has already been done. Both teams have given me the R. We will be going to Infernal Shrines. And here we go. The talk of the draft was the last pick Kel'Thuzad coming out by Dunning-Kruger Knights, who are ahead in the 2-game set 1-0. Kel'Thuzad will be hiding behind a very formidable front line of a Blaze Garrosh. Very protected.
Yeah, so I think that Kel'Thuzad's not going to have too hard a time actually getting the chain quests, and getting that quest done, particularly with the Johanna and the Leoric up front. Also, Tychus, Stukov, Gul'dan, nobody's really got any kind of mobility to be able to dodge the Kel'Thuzad very easily, so I could see why they decided to go with this pick, but we'll have to see. Ultimately, it's up to how much they feed into it and whether or not that Kel'Thuzad can be spot on with his aim.
So on the right side, the red team, Dunning-Kruger Knights, we have Garrosh played by Ralph Stu, Schweik playing Kel'Thuzad, Aleska playing Blaze, Hotaru on Alexstrasza, and as Kokuburi on Phoenix.
5, 4, 3.
And on the left, we've got Psychoswarm. We've got Cheese Sticks on the Gul'dan. Wow, the Stukov's name. I am Uazizuva. Magic Walrus going to be on the Leoric, Kaiser on the Johanna, and Cujo going to be on the Tychus.
Yeah, in game 1, I did shorten that to Zuva for my own sanity.
Yes, that works. We'll go with Zuva. Zuva on the Stuka. All right.
So the little kind of gentleman's 5-on-5 clash in mid. Psychoswarm will get the better of that, but Dunning-Kruger has already rotated into lanes. If you're the side of Psychoswarm, you really want to get up a little bit before Kel'Thuzad comes online with his quest. If Kel'Thuzad's team stays even and then he finishes his quest, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, so right there we see 3 picked up already by Schwelk. And this is exactly what you want to try to avoid if you're Psychoswarm. You want to have the good rotations and get the good wave clear, but really as soon as that Kel'Thuzad walks up to you, you just need to try to do your best to dodge. Again, not a whole lot of mobility for Psychoswarm, but if they feed too much into this too early, they're going to have a rough time in the late game.
Yeah, and if you're a Kel'Thuzad, you want that room to operate, and the way the chains work, he actually doesn't even need to get to the back line. You can use the Leoric or the Johanna as the route to pull in your actual target, whether it be Stukov or Gul'dan.
So right away we see the side of Psychoswarm picking up the mid camp. Both teams actually grabbing those mid camps, and we're going to see the bottom camp prioritized here for the side of Psychoswarm as well. So good macro, good early camp rotations. Both teams pretty even on XP so far, so not a huge soak advantage. And then, of course, the constant 1v1 in the top for the 2 solo laners. That's probably not going to go very far with both of them having a lot of self-sustain and a lot of escapability in case of a gank. So it's kind of a boring top solo lane there, but that is going to be where the next shrine is going to end up spawning here, this first shrine, I should say.
Ralph Stu taking a whole lot of poke from Cheese Sticks on the Gul'dan. Chain onto Cujo, missed onto Zuva. Teams continuing to posture in the mid lane. 2-man condemn out from Kaiser. And the first objective will pop top lane Punisher. Both teams likely to start making their way up as Schweik gets another 2 stacks of the Kel'Thuzad quest.
Yeah, not only that, but he's getting those on the squishy targets too, so he's getting a little practice getting those priority targets down. One thing we haven't talked about yet, the Alexstrasza going to be a really big pickup here for DKK, and they are going to be able to pop that Dragon Queen at the right time and give them a huge advantage on this first shrine. So much to the fact that I'm not sure Psychoswarm's going to try too hard to contest this. We'll have to see.
Alright, so both teams making their way up to the top lane. Dunning-Kruger Knights already at almost 10 Shrine Guardians. Psychoswarm now coming up though. Cujo taking a whole lot of poke. Both teams posturing. Dragon Queen going out a little bit early. However, DKK wants to make sure they establish this objective as their own. 2-man jet propulsion into the Kel'Thuzad damage. Johanna the first to fall. Ralph Stu, though, running for his life. And Phoenix overstays his welcome. A 1-for-1. And Dragon Queen failing to secure the objective area for DKK.
Yeah, you can't forget that even though Stukov has fallen a little bit out of meta, his strengths are still in the game. He's still got very good sustain through a lot of these longer fights. And really, it's a blow-up comp right now for DKK. If they don't get that early blow-up on 2 or 3 members, they're not going to be able to take a 1v1 and fight long-term. There's too much sustain coming out here from Psychoswarm.
For sure, and you can actually see exactly what you're talking about on the health bars of the members of Dunning-Kruger Knights, and a little bit surprisingly, I would say, Jason, first Punisher goes over to Psychoswarm, and that's really what they want to see. You do not want to fall behind objectives while Kel'Thuzad is stacking his quest.
Yeah, it's very well played by Psychoswarm here in the early game. It's not going to give them too much of an advantage. We got to remember these early Punishers still not all that strong. They might be able to pick up a fort here if we don't see a huge turn coming in from Dunning-Kruger Knights, but we'll have to see. The fort does end up going down. They'll get a nice little XP boost now from the forts, which have now elevated XP count when they go down. But it should give them an advantage in the race to 10, but DKK is definitely not out of this yet.
For sure not. You know, I was going to say in that first objective, I thought the Dragon Queen was popped pretty early. Typically on Shrines, what you're going to see with an Alexstrasza is the team with the Alexstrasza is going to wait till you're at like 20, 25, 30, and then you pop the Dragon Queen to ensure that the other team is not, it just clinches it for you. It really shortens the race on the objective. That was a little bit of an early Alexstrasza Dragon Queen.
Well, not only that, but Alexstrasza's Dragon Queen gives you the opportunity to have a good amount in getting double Q and double E, or a double W, I should say. But yeah, overall, not used that effectively. Popped very early, like you said, when the health bars were still relatively high, and so they didn't really take advantage of that burst of healing you can get from her. But let's not forget, level 10 is where Alexstrasza has been really OP lately with that newly reformed Lifebinder.
Yeah, I mean, Cleansing Flame is still solid, but Lifebinder is bananas good. It's so good.
Now, you talk about being able to keep one target alive. You pop that on a low Garrosh, and not only has he got all that extra armor, but he's got the healing ticks, bring him all the way back to full. By then, you've pretty much spent your entire cooldown just to try to kill the Garrosh, so we'll have to see. If Garrosh is the only available one in these team fights, it could be really rough here in the late game for Psychoswarm.
So Psychoswarm, though, is the first to get 10s. They will have this heroic advantage for probably about 10 seconds here. It is Flailing Swipe for Stukov, Blessed Shield for Johanna, Commandeer Odin for Tychus, and Leoric on the cheeky side, still holding his heroic selection.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It does make a lot of sense with Stukov that you would want to go with the Entomb for that Entomb Lurking Arm combo, but we'll see where they end up going. Meanwhile, on the side of DKK, we've got the Warlord's Challenge, Purification Salvo. It is going to be Cleansing Flame instead of Lifebinder. Very interesting pickup there. Shadow Fisher, and of course the standard Bunker Drop.
And a mini invade on the side here of Psychoswarm. They're going in hard. They are caught, but it is actually the members of Dunning-Kruger who are very, very low. Nobody has fallen. That Cleansing Flame goes out, and it is Garrosh Blaze the first to fall. And then Johanna, no, very low, but she does walk away. A huge Horrify secures the kill onto Kel'Thuzad. Leoric may have overchased, but he does Wraith walk away. An aggressive invade there by Psychoswarm, able to secure 2 kills, steal the Bruiser camp, and set themselves up for the second Punisher of the game, an arcane one.
The fact that Kaiser did not die in that team fight is absolutely incredible. But not only that, look at the health bars already back to full. No problem for Stukov, healing all of this up, getting that sustained value. But once again, gotta call out DKK there for not playing to their team's strength. They didn't get the kills. They didn't back out fast enough. They got caught in a sustained team fight. But here comes the burst.
Yeah, DKK popping the Alexstrasza Dragon Queen, trying to drive Psychoswarm off, and they are currently successful. Cheese Sticks does get rooted by the Kel'Thuzad, who is now being chased away by Leoric. 35 Shrine Guardians for Psychoswarm. I kind of would like to see them just back up, tap the well, reset, go back in. They have plenty of time to secure those last 5, especially with Gul'dan.
Yeah, once again, they're going to sustain this one out. They're going to start to poke some damage in. Start to get a little bit of the healing in. They're going right on the Alexstrasza here, though. Nice root coming out from Schweck. The huge Savo is going to be following it up. It is going to get the Gul'dan and the Johanna as well, so a 2-for-0 exchange, but the Punisher still goes over to Psychoswarm.
So a nice kind of falling away, kiting engagement there from Dunning-Kruger, able to secure 2 kills and really put a dampen on this Arcane Punisher push down the mid lane.
Yeah, they're not going to get nearly as much out of this, even with the Odin being popped, though John Cena's trying to at least give them something out of it, but we're going to see actually the Cleansing Flame come out to try and keep them alive here and maybe be able to turn, but at the end of the day, they bait out that heroic. They get a nice amount of damage done in the mid to get that fort down, and again, sizable lead here, about a full level for Psychoswarm, and they've got the 2 forts down already.
And they also are planning a little party here for Dunning-Kruger. While we have a minute, we're going to check. Kel'Thuzad is done with his Master of the Cold Dark quest. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on. You saw the burst damage come out there a little bit, that last team fight going hard, a triple condemn, a horrifying isolate Schweik. He goes down very quickly. Psychoswarm chasing a little bit into taking fort shots there before withdrawing, but a quick kill onto the Kel'Thuzad.
Yeah, very nice rotation there from Psychoswarm. They are going to lose a little bit of soak from the side soak from being out there and them not having their solo laner split. But they get the kill on Kel'Thuzad, which is going to be nice. Going to force the side of DKK to be a little bit passive until he's able to come back. Now they have 13s, though. They want to try and find an opportunity to force a fight somewhere before level 16s are going to be achieved down the road here by Psychoswarm, and this fort's going to help them with that.
Yeah, now they are tanking. There's no minions here. However, the side of Dunning-Kruger a little late on the rotation, and they're not going to be here in time. However, Tychus is in trouble. He is chained and then taunted. Flailing swiped for a disengagement, and Stukov not quite enough. And now Dunning-Kruger, full offensive. Purification salvo goes out. Not able to secure the kills on anybody. Big March of the Black King from Leoric. Cleansing Flame going out. Everybody hitting their R buttons, but nobody is going down, Jason.
Yeah, the damage is split really heavily right now from DKK. We've got Phoenix and Kel'Thuzad on different targets, which is allowing that spread healing from the Stukov to do very, very nice work. Keep everybody up. And the lockdown does finally come down onto Gul'dan, and they are going to be able to get 1 kill out of all this. But that should have been much, much worse for Psychoswarm. Now a lot of the cooldowns are down on both sides, and Psychoswarm escapes with just 1 death and still a half-level lead going into this next Shrine phase.
Yeah, I thought for sure Cujo on Tychus was a cooked goose when he was flipped over, but a big-time Horrify by Gul'dan kept his teammate alive before Gul'dan was ultimately the one to go down. Psychoswarm now pushing for 16. They have about a half a level-ish lead here. And both sides securing their bruiser camps in the top lane almost simultaneously.
Yeah, just mirroring on both sides right now. Not a whole lot for either team to do. A lot of this was determined earlier who was going to be pushing in where. But I like the call here from Psychoswarm. They know they're a lot closer to 16. They know that they can try and grab this 16 and push the Shaman camp up in top and then try to still contest. Even if they don't get this, it's not necessarily a great idea for them to take this fight until they have the advantage. But I don't know. We're getting very close to 16, and only about halfway done with the Shrine is DKK.
Yeah, now Alexstrasza will shorten that Shrine. However, Commandeer Odin comes out. Psychoswarm is moving in. They do not want to lose this. A lot of damage being absorbed by the side of Dunning-Kruger. Leoric Wraith walks in. Cleansing Flame goes out. Nobody has fallen yet. However, Schweik is in a lot of trouble. Johanna went very deep to zone him away. Purification Salvo goes out, hits multiple members, and this is going to be trouble for Dunning-Kruger Knights. Alexstrasza and Blaze both fall. Magic Walrus Ghost walking in pursuit, and that is a hat trick for Leoric, securing all 3 of those kills.
Mongoose, I didn't know Genji was in the... Oh, wait, no, sorry, that's Leoric. Wait a minute. He is getting all these finishing blows, and I'm starting to realize the difference in these 2 comps. We've got Leoric, who can step up in and finish off low targets, but there really isn't that hero on the side of Dunning-Kruger Knights. They get a lot of damage out, they get a lot of heroes low, but they don't have anybody with the mobility and the dive potential to get to those low targets, finish them off like Leoric is doing, and that's what's giving Psychoswarm the edge in these team fights.
Also, it's going to be underappreciated, but Kaiser on Johanna is going really deep and putting a lot of pressure onto the Kel'Thuzad, not allowing him any space to operate. So if you go watch that team fight that just happened, Kel'Thuzad had almost zero impact because he was constantly being chased on the backside by Kaiser.
Yeah, it's hard to get a Johanna off of you once you set your sights in. But once again, nice Wraith Walk in. The Punisher's followed up. We're even going to see the March go through. The Sabo not going to get a whole lot done as it's spread through, but there's no slows really applied to the team here. Looking for this combo is Schwelk, but he's not going to be able to get anything out of that. Meanwhile, the keep is slowly going down. Odin's going to be popped here, and looks like they're going to go after the keep here.
Yeah, bottom keep certainly going to fall. Is Psychoswarm looking for more? They are. Hotaru gets obliterated. Gul'dan gets the kill, but that was mostly on the back of the Commandeer Odin. Psychoswarm moving in. Are they thinking game? They are wailing on the core on the backside. Leoric does go down. However, Garrosh falls as well. It is a 4v2 with a Ghost Slow, so 4.25. However, big combo coming out by Kel'Thuzad, effectively ending Stukov and Gul'dan and Psychoswarm's hopes for ending the game now. Johanna walking away to safety because that's kind of what she does.
Yeah. I'm reminded of the Carbot animations video where she's just dragging Diablo through the mines. But we are going to see a little bit of a lack of respect from Psychoswarm and the potential blow up of the Kel'Thuzad. Able to keep the game going, very good anti-siege potential, and just like that, they're slowly getting back into the game. Still a little over a level down. They've still got a long way to go, but they are able to save the game for now.
Yeah, I think the core call by Psychoswarm was probably on the ambitious side. When that keep went down, they could have withdrawn pretty cleanly and in good order and just painted this map blue. But it's really not going to hurt them too much. They still have a full level lead. All members will be up, and there really wasn't much on the battlefield in the way of opportunities for DKK to capitalize on that either.
Yeah, the odds of ending the game in that situation are pretty low. But after getting those kills, they could have started to paint the map their color, work towards level 20, but instead they give up a couple of kills. Not favorable to trade in that situation when you're up. So I agree with you. Definitely a little too ambitious. But meanwhile, right now DKK looking to try and force anything before level 20. But now the smart macro play from Psychoswarm. They've recovered from that earlier mistake, and now they're just looking to get that 20 so that they can run the rest of this game towards the end.
Yeah, DKK is going to have Katas pushing bottom. They're going to have Bruiser Camp pushing top, while the objective is going to spawn mid. Level 20 talents are here for the side of Psychoswarm, and now they're moving in on the invasion. Great call. All the members of DKK are bottom other than Blaze. Blaze might be walking into some trouble here. He sees that is not a party he wants to participate in. He's like,
Nope.
See you, boys.
That is the definition of noping the hell out of there. But I think that's what we should have seen possibly from DKK before the 20s came in. I would have liked to see them get aggressive, use that blow-up comp of theirs to go across the map, maybe invade Psychoswarm Shaman camp to try and force, but they're playing a little bit passive. They're looking for the level 20. This mid-shrine is going to be going to a keep. They can even bait it to top to try and get a little extra support taking it down. They should be able to reach 20 here, but we'll see. You know, the side of DKK kind of running out of lives in order to try and stay in this match.
Yeah, and all the structures for Psychoswarm are basically still on the battlefield. And the way they manipulated the, Kata's bottom, of course, but also double push top, that basically meant that there really wasn't a realistic way for DKK to contest this, and they are able to secure a Mortar Punisher for free. 20s are on the board for DKK, however.
I will say this, though. This wouldn't be the first time I've ever seen a team come back from being up 6 or being down 6-2 on the structures. That's how we will see the Punisher jumping over the wall, and they're going to be going right onto the mid keep here. Nice bait in, but here comes the side of Psychoswarm.
A big Horrify after a defensive toss from Garrosh. John Cena is going to be looking to jump here soon. It was also a big Wraith Walk by Leoric to reduce the damage. Blaze is in trouble as Odin is just wailing away on the front line. Ralph Stew in full retreat. Dragon Queen finally popped. Nobody is down yet, Jason.
Yeah, somehow they're all staying alive, but John Cena going to jump in on Kalthazad. Nice heal coming in, but it's not going to be quite enough. Garrosh is going to go down, Alexstrasza goes down, and even though Kalthazad is back to life, the core is beginning to fall. I think this might be it, Mongoose.
I think it's going to be pretty close. Not only did John Cena go in on Kalthazad, he finished the job as well. Phoenix falling on the dying throes of this game. Psychoswarm able to salvage a split after losing game 1 last week. Well played to them. Let's see if we can get somebody in here, and I did not mention it in the... Oh, you know what? We can do the... no cameras because my cam died and I don't get a new one until tomorrow, so we are audio only today. You didn't want to see my ugly mug anyway. Let's see if we can get a member of Psychoswarm in here after we take a look at the stats. Talents for those of you who want to see those things.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Mongoose, the stats I don't think really tell the tale all that well. I feel like a lot of those mid fights, you know, you saw Leoric get a lot of good killing blows. Really, it's the kill counter is really the only thing that I see as a massively significant difference. Stukov also out healing Alexstrasza, which right now in this meta is kind of surprising. I do feel like Lifebinder could have been something to kind of help, even though a lot of the damage from Psychoswarm was spread. At the end of the day, you can really focus heal, you know, yourself first of all, but also that one target. I don't know. I felt like that might have been a missed opportunity for DKK on that ult.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's just I mean, it needs to be nerfed, frankly. It's really good.
It's too good not to take. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, because Cleansing Flame is an excellent heroic. It's just... it's so good. But it felt like Garrosh and Blaze were just under constant barrage from Gul'dan, from Tychus, even Leoric with the Drain Hope, the percentage damage. And I think so many of these team fights were really determined by the aggression of the Leoric and the Johanna. Basically, the assassins for Dunning-Kruger were under constant pressure. They were never operating in the space that they wanted. And the flip side of that, you never felt that Psychoswarm's assassins were in a position that they felt like they were under threat. They could move to the space that they wanted to move to where they felt safe, and they can put in damage. And DKK's assassins were on the flip side. They were just never where they wanted to be.
By the way, shout out to Kala for hanging out in chat.
Oh, wow. Welcome, Kala.
And it looks like we're being joined by Third Fangs?
Can you hear us, buddy?
Question mark?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So
I
you're...
changed my name to my username.
Okay.
Well, there we go.
So nice bounce back after dropping game 1 last week. First things first, everybody got their power back. Everybody's okay?
Yeah, it's just monsoon season here, and 4 of us are roommates. Everyone but Kaiser. So when we had a monsoon hit and knocked out the power, we just all dropped immediately.
Yeah, I know the timing of the power outage was really interesting because it matched perfectly with the countdown of the game. I don't know if you realize this, but it was like 3, 2, 1, their whole team's gone.
Yeah. We were kind of laughing at that in sort of a why us sort of way.
So if I remember correctly, in game 1, DKK really controlled that game. tonight you guys really flipped the script. You had a whole week to talk about these comps and strategies. Did you have something specific going in to deal with that kind of last pick sneaky Kel'Thuzad?
Well, I mean, to be honest, we didn't really feel that Kel'Thuzad would be that much of a threat, mainly because Tychus, Gul'dan, and Mansukov kind of know to stay, out of range. We're kind of experienced with dealing with Kel'Thuzad. And then our tanks, Leo and Johanna, both have unstoppables, so we weren't really afraid of the Kel'Thuzad so much. It just didn't feel like it would affect much when the main people that it would pull in could just walk through it,
Sure. So is this, how many other sets have you guys played so far in round one here?
This is the second one that we finished up. We actually just had a game about an hour ago.
Doubleheader, how'd you do?
Not well.
Well, you get to end the night on a good note, though.
Yeah, that is true. Very psyched about that.
Anything from you, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, since we got the healer in here for the interview, got to ask about that Stukov play. And in a meta that isn't very friendly towards Stukov, how do you guys feel like you got so much value out of that in this matchup?
Well, as far as how I was playing Stukov, really the value he brought was the fact that when Garrosh stuns someone or when they set up for picking someone, silence under that person, and Garrosh just walks up to them into a silence. That plus the armor talent that he provides kind of gave everyone a bit of sustainability. And the burst heals just worked out really well against some of their things like Alex Dragon and just some of the more bursty moves that they could play.
Yeah, definitely a lot of different ways that Stukov was able to benefit in that matchup. And just in general, I guess the main question I would ask you guys is, what are your guys' goals this season in your division? How are you guys feeling so far with this just this first phase, and where you guys are looking to go with the rest of the season?
Well, I mean, of course, we're going to aim for the top. Minimum, we're hoping to do better than we did last season. Hopefully to get in like the semifinals, top 4. Obviously, the goal, as with any team here, is to take home, number 1 in the division. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, any shout-outs before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Bernalo, our substitute, and also to I completely forgot our main tank's name, but him too. He hasn't been playing lately, so I kind of forget his username. Also
Kaiser.
our coach, Psych. No, Kaiser is
Oh,
used to be
okay.
a sub. He replaced someone on our team from last season.
Aha.
But also shout out to Psycho, our coach, and Danebo, who is a traitor who left our team.
Even shouting out the traders. I love it.
Well, thanks for joining us. Congratulations picking up the split, and thanks for letting me know when it was rescheduled so I could finish out the cast for you guys. When I get a chance, I'll clip both VODs together so you guys have it nice and all together instead of in two parts.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate having you cast our games. Always a pleasure, seeing an outside perspective from one of you guys.
Well, thanks again. Good luck the rest of the season. Jason, short, sweet, nice, entertaining game, and now we're out of here.
Good deal, man. Fun hots. I think we're back again tomorrow night. What do you know?
You took the words right out of my mouth. Tomorrow night, we are back. I have a doubleheader. You will only be joining me for the late game, you Night Owl, you. And that will be tomorrow night. I go on at 7 o'clock. Late game where you will be joining me. Should be a good one. Team Showboat
Versus Stepdads,
Stepdads, Division A. And actually, the first one is my squad's sister team in the Heroic Division, Regen Black versus Zenith of the Light. So should be two pretty high-level games tomorrow. Tune in if you're so inclined. Thank you for joining me. Any parting words, Mr. Jason?
Yeah, just thanks for having me once again. You know, I'm looking forward to trying to team up with you more often this season if we get the chance, and any other casters as well. I'll also be doing my initial cast in Div B tomorrow night. After we get done with Mongoose's match at 10 p.m., I'm taking the nightcap, Getting Sweaty versus Obscured. And that'll be over on my channel, Jason Hots. Hope you guys come check that out.
All right, well, thanks again, Jason, and thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a wonderful night, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow.